we're getting to the stage where we're focusing on individual elements within a scene, and in this particular one, we've focused on these rocks. So what does it take to make rocks look good? We're going to start with this middle of the middle brown, and I've got my watercolor round brush. I'm setting it to 20%, which is pretty much always our starting point, and a nice big brush size. I'm going to zoom right in, and what I want to do is just lay down a kind of a base layer here. So I'm keeping my brush tip down and just laying down a nice smooth undercoat so that no white shows through as I start to add other color. Oops, see, I lifted and then went back down. Right, now I'm going to hop one space to the right. I'm keeping 20% opacity. Now I'm going to be quite careful to work first the front rock and then the back rock behind, because I don't want them to look like a single blob separated by an outline. I want it to be very clear that the front rock is separate from that rock, and that will show through in the light. So I'm imagining the light coming from the top. I want to leave the top quite plain, and I'm going to tap in towards the bottom like this, so the sort of tap and dab and swirl into the bottom, creating a darker color at the bottom. And then the same with the other rock, tap and swirl, dabbing into the bottom, but you see I have to use smaller dabs there because I don't want to come into the top of this rock. I want to leave the top of this rock lighter, so I'm being quite careful there. Now I'm going to jump straight in with my burnt umber, and I'll take this down to 10% because it's a dark color, and you know that dark colors make you commit faster. So down we come to 10%, and now I'm tapping into the base of the rock here and just creating that. And then again here, tap, 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 tapping into the base of this rock as well. And this is looking a little bit bland there, so I'm probably going to go back to the slightly goldier color here and tap a little bit around there just to get a bit more texture. And I can also tap a bit around here. It's a little bit of a back and forth procedure. I wouldn't mind a little bit darker at the base of this rock, so I've gone in with 10%, and I'm adding in some extra darkness. I'm going to reduce my brush size a little bit here so that I don't have to be quite so tappy. And there, okay. Now, final step here is to add in our trusty favorite, the French ultramarine. And what you'll find, I'll show you how it works. If I tap a whole load of blue over the top here, firstly that's 20%, and it quite quickly looks very blue and sort of purpley almost. So we take it down to our 10%, as we always do, and then it's just really careful dabs. So I need to be careful. You can see I'm getting that teardrop shape there. I'm going to take my brush size up again and just literally tap, 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 especially where it's darkest, and a little bit up further. And then I'll have to have the smaller brush size for this one. But again, I'm working quite carefully because I really do want to keep the contrast of the deeper tones at the base of that rock and the paler tones at the top of this one. So now it's a matter of cleaning up, but also going in with that selective smudge technique that I showed you in the green video that we did earlier. Just reducing the amount of blotchiness without actually going for a smudge tool, because the smudge tool ends up being very bland. It takes away all the texture that you've worked hard to get, and then you just end up with the blah kind of pasted, not very attractive look. So what I do is each side of the divide of the color, if I go in and choose color and then just tap towards the other side, I can kind of drag the color back and forth and reduce the difference between one side and the other. So I'm effectively blending, but in a very manual way, which gives me a more interesting look. And of course, if one doesn't totally like what one gets, you can always go back and do some more work. So that is pretty much how it goes. Then it's a matter of cleaning up and pretty soon we'll be ready for the next step with this.